Hi, it's Stephanie Evelo here with the Evelo Team and Keller Realty. And we are so excited today to be giving you our, again, monthly market update. And I've got my senior realtor partner, Bob Warner here, who's the expert in sharing the data and information with us. So Bob, can you kick it off for us? So what are we seeing and what's happened here in the last 30 days?
Yeah, we'll just try to dive right in. We've always got a lot to cover. We know everyone's short on time. So a few different things. We've kind of been looking backwards at these 5-year trends for the last several months. So we'll continue with that today. First up is that median sales price. So for the month ending August, the median sales price for our local market was $280,000. A couple things to note here. That is down 3.4% over the previous month, but it is still up 12% year over year. So we are we'll I think continually be talking about the market shifting for the next several months plus, and each one of these will just point a little bit of a direction of how that's shifting. So next up is that kind of cumulative days on market median in average. So again, we're seeing those numbers go up, right? So as more homes come on the market and more buyers exit the market, so that median days on market is up to 9, which is almost 29% up month over month. And the big one here, that's up 80% year over year. So that's one of those metrics that's definitely showing that shift. Same with this, the month supply of inventory or absorption rate. Again, a balanced market is about a 5 to 6 month supply of inventory. We crossed 1.1 months in July, also did that in August, but that is a nearly 70% change year over year. The same period last year, we were at 0.7. This next one, quickly, that percent of list price received, we have dropped below 100% for the first time in a while. You do see these kind of big trends each year. We do kind of start to go back up towards 100% and higher in January, February, and then it does start to usually tail off in July or August. So we're definitely seeing that. Not big changes there, but it'll be interesting to see where that number goes over the next few months. And then last month we added in.
That was a really big one, right?
For the first time. Yeah, big jump, even though it's a small percentage. And then last month we added in 2 new slides, which we think will be really important to track moving forward. And that is closed sales and the percent of price reduction. So first up is closed sales. It did actually go up a little bit over July, which is a little unusual, but not significant, up almost 3%. But the bigger one is probably that year over year, the amount of closed sales is down 9%. And then I think the most telling slide to maybe look at, this is the number of price changes to the listings that are active in the market. So in August, we had 2,626 price changes, which was up 10% over last month. And probably the really big news is that was up nearly 71% year over year. So that's kind of our first real indications of how that market is changing in as close to real time as we can have.
Yeah, and obvious that we're in a shift, right? We're definitely shifting. You can see it in the actual stats and numbers. It's not that just all of us believe that it's in a shift, right? It's actually showing evidence of. So yeah, so what does that 1.1 month supply of inventory really look like?
Yeah, so what we've been doing for a while is kind of taking a look at these kind of 5 northern suburban areas of Indianapolis, mainly Hamilton County and Boone County. We started really tracking it when it fell below 500 listings. And now for the last few, I think we had gotten down under 200 at one point. And now for the last couple months, we have jumped back over 500. We were at 590 today across these 5 suburbs. And then those that are under 250 at 19. That number will probably continue to be small because now our median price point is above 280. So we probably won't see the number of listings under 250 come back to a significant number, but I think we'll continue to see that climb above 500 each month.
Yeah, and so what are interest rates? I know that's the number one question people ask. You know, what are the current rates for mortgage?
And don't we all wish we had a magic ball to play that game, but we don't.
Right.
So all we can do is show what the current data is. And they have taken a little bit of a spike back up this past month. So they crossed 6% for the first time in a while. That is up about 2.8% since the beginning of the year. But again, from a historical perspective, still pretty low overall. We'll just have to kind of continue to monitor that. And the reality is no one knows for certain where interest rates might stop, or where home prices might stop. So trying to play that market could be a little tricky, right? At the end of the day, if it's time to move, it's time to move. There's ways to capitalize both on buying and selling, and trying to time the market is always a bit of a challenge that you usually end up on the losing end of.
Yeah. So, and any last thoughts to share? Anything else we should know or think about?
Yeah, I think what I'm going to probably try to do each month, we talked about a shift and what does that mean, right? So we kind of presented one aspect of a shifting market last month. I brought in a little bit of information here today. In general, right, shoppers are going to have more homes to consider than they did last year at this time for sure. But the reality is that the market inventory is still not back to pre-pandemic levels. And so just giving a little bit of an illustration of what that means here, looking at August inventory numbers from 2022 versus 2019 and 2018, right? So that active listing count is still down 55% over 2019, and it's down 63% over 2018. So while we say that the market is changing, shifting, it is, but it's what I'll describe as a slow, gradual shift. We're not anticipating this big crashing wave of shift. It's going to be probably this month, and for how long that continues, we don't know. Probably will extend out years until we get to a more balanced market again. Balanced market being that 5 or 6 month supply of inventory, or right now we're just a tick over 1 month. So we'll just kind of continue to watch that as we do this each month and see what those key metrics are that are showing how that shift is coming and how quickly.
Yeah, and I think ours is much more gradual than what I see and hear from other friends, agent friends from across the US, right? They've seen a lot more spiking shifts where ours has been much more gradual. So yeah. Well, thank you so much, Bob, for always sharing. Thank you so much for the information. Hopefully this will shed some light for those who are curious about what's happening here in our local market here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And if you have a real estate need that we can help with, let us connect. You can contact us at info@eveloteam.com, or you can always call the office at 317-863-9011. And we look forward to connecting and answering any real estate questions and needs that you might have. And let us know how else we might be able to help. Thank you so much for joining. And as always, make each moment count. Bye-bye.
Bye.